Welcome back to the Basics, Lesson 8. Now when we first began the series, remember I told you there were 5 basic shapes that you were going to learn. And if you learned these shapes, you would be able to put them together to make any stitch you want. Well, today is our last shape. So far we have covered the arc. We have covered the S-curve. We have covered the straight line. We have covered the loop. And today we're going to cover the hook. So sit back, relax, and here we go. Now the hook will seem fairly familiar to you because it looks like the letter C. And if we were to do cursive writing, this is what the letter C would look like. Now there's a little difference though that I want to show you between this and what a hook should really look like. Generally, when we're doing cursive writing, we have a tendency to slant our writing a little to the right, as you can see by the grayed out C. We want to remove that slant and make it straight up and down instead, like you see in the red. Another thing that we do when we're doing cursive writing, as you can see in the grayed out letter, is we make that hook a little skinny and sharp. We want to make that hook nice and full so it gives a really nice look to your quilting. Now let's get back to the video. When you come up to do the hook part, make it very rounded. And then backtrack. And then we can go back down if you want, just like a C. But you see the difference between the two. It's a much fuller hook. Now you can try to stay right on the lines when you backtrack, or you can deliberately go out of the lines like this and make it look like a ribbon. There's so many things that you can do with the hook. Now let's take those a step further. This is a great border design for those narrow borders that you just don't know what to put in there. So we're going to start out with a hook. And I want you to notice how many resting places there are in this design, where you can stop, think about your next step, and move on. Remember, we're always keeping our eyes on where we're going, not the needle. It's taking care of itself. So let's go. Let's go up here and make a hook and come back. But we're only going to come back part way. So here we go. And we want to make it nice and full. Okay, I'm going to come around halfway on that hook. Now I want to make another one, but I want the hook, instead of the open part of the hook facing up, I want it to face down. So how am I going to do that? We want it to face down. We're going to stitch down. Now we want it to face up, so we're going to stitch up. Stop halfway up. We want it to stitch, or we want it to have the open end down, so we're going to stitch down. Halfway down, we're going to stop. We want it to stitch up, so we're going to stitch up. And we're just going to keep reversing this. That was up. Now we're going to go down. Remember to keep your hooks nice and rounded. Okay, we just went down, now we want to go up again. And we want to go down again. So if you can just remember to reverse the up and down, you'll have a nice border. And you really don't even have to think of anything but up and down. And there's your border. So let's review that exercise again. We're going to start out with step 1, and we're going to swing down and around to make our hook. Now we're going to backtrack until we get to the center of the hook. Since that last hook was started out with a downward stroke, the next hook will start out with an upward stroke to reverse the direction of the hook. Once again, we're going to backtrack to the center of the hook, and from there we'll just keep repeating in an up and down manner until we get our border completed. That's not so hard, is it? Here's another great border design for you. Again, it's just the hooks. So we're going to start out by just making the swirl. We're going to backtrack that. And then we're going to make another swirl, but so it reaches the other side of the border, like so. Now this is a good exercise for backtracking. Now we can fill in the spaces between these designs by maybe putting in one of those leaves that you learned. Like so. And let's go back. Now if you don't like to backtrack because you can't stay on the lines, we can do that ribbon look. So we're going to do our first loop, and we'll deliberately go out of the lines, come up and do your next loop, and deliberately don't follow the lines, come down, relief, and let's go to the next one. Again, we're going to Make a loop. Don't worry about staying on the lines. Come up here and make another loop. Again, don't worry about the lines. Come down here, make our leaf. Make a stem in the middle. And so on and so forth. So that makes a very nice looking border. So we'll keep going with that. The most important thing is to try to make a nice full hook. That's what makes the design look pretty. If you make the hook too shallow or too skinny, it's not nearly as pretty. So practice making your hooks before moving on. And we'll do one more. It's kind of nice to not have to stay on the lines, isn't it? And there's your other border design. Now, just in case I went too fast for you on the video, I'm going to show you again in a drawing. So our first step is to make the first hook like this. Then we're going to backtrack halfway down the hook. Now we'll add the higher hook. We're going to backtrack all the way down until we get to the bottom. Then we're going to add the leaf. Then we're going to add a vein in the leaf. And then we're going to swing over and start again. Let's get adventurous. Let's do a hook flower or a hook feather. First, we're going to start out by just doing an S-curve for the stem. Okay, we got that done. Now remember, in a feather, the feathers usually go in and out at a 45-degree angle. That's what gives it the feather shape. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to be stitching this at a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to start out by doing a hook, backtrack, another hook, backtrack, and another hook, backtrack. Now we're going to come back, do a hook here, and down. Let's do that on the other side. We're going to make a hook, backtrack, make another hook. Remember, make your hooks nice and round. Don't make them skinny like the letter C. If you can't stay on the line to backtrack, you can let them be feathers. Now when we get to this point, we're going to come up. We're going to do another hook and back down. Okay, now we're going to move a good distance away so we can fit the next one in. Ready? We're going to do a hook, another hook. Remember, keeping it keep those going at a 45-degree angle. Another hook. A little hook up here and back down through to the stem. Okay, swap the other side. A hook. Now this is challenging, I know. This is not real simple, but you've come so far in your lessons that I just thought maybe you'd want a real challenge. Little hook on top and back down. Up the line a little bit. Do a hook. Now we're going to try to shorten this one up a little bit since we're getting closer to the top. So we're just going to do 2 hooks. Do a little loop here and back down. 2 hooks. Another hook. A hook here and back down. We're going to cut this thread out of the way. And for the top, we're going to continue on with that theme by just making a hook. A hook. A top hook and back down. And you can just trace that stem all the way down. And there you have a modernistic feather made out of nothing but hooks. Here's another feather we can make out of hooks. Here we go. Let's make the S-curve. Okay. This time let's make a big hook. Now when we get to the end of the hook, we're going to do a straight line, and we're deliberately going to make it into a ribbon by not staying on the line. When we get to the other side, we're going to do the same thing. Nice big hook. Let's make a V. Let's move up our stem a little bit. Another big hook. A V. Another big hook. A V. Go up the stem a little bit. This time, let's make a little bit smaller one since we're getting close to the top. And I'm going to stop here and trim that thread tail away. And on this side, I'm going to do another one. Don't forget the V. Now, as we come down this feather, we have a lot of open spaces. So if you want, you could just add some V's in there to fill in the spaces. or you could have just left it as it was. Depends on how fanciful you want your feather to be. Now what are we going to do when we get to the bottom of this? Let me show you. Here goes. Let's combine you learned how to do the arc. So we're going to do an arc, but we're going to make it like almost like a lazy 8. Now we're going to do another one with that staying on the line so it looks like a ribbon. Now let's make another hook. So now it looks like a feather bouquet with a bow on the bottom. Hooks are nice because you can turn them into a really nice filler. And we did this in the sampler, on the free motion quilting sampler, and this is one of the things that just gave people fits. But now that you've learned all the basics, this may be a little bit easier for you. It just takes a little bit of thinking. So let's start out by making a hook and part way around. Now remember, this is where you can stop and think. Okay, we went up. Now we want to swing down. Swing up. Now we want to swing down. We want to swing up. And we want to swing down. And just keep alternating. Swing up. Swing down. And sometimes it looks like they're all going in the same direction, but it's just because of the way that you're moving, what angle you're moving at. But you can swing over to fill in areas. You can make this a really tiny filler. So it's almost like meandering. And you can make it go wherever you want by just what direction you swing your hook to. Or you can make it really big and make it a very quick all over design for your quilt. But each one is done the same way. Each one gives you that nice stopping point right here where you can make up your mind which direction you want to go in. Now I'm going to just kind of scoot over here because I want to show you one other thing that you can do with these, and that's that you can also, let's go over here, you can also put the hook on them. But you want to come back to a point. Now we can do another one. This is a great all-over design for a quilt. So if you're quilting a baby quilt, this would be a great design because you could really quilt it up fast and it kind of looks babyish. And you could also add a rattle or some other design to that to make it even more special. Next lesson, we're going to start working with feathers. Everybody wants to learn how to do a feather. So we're going to start with traditional feathers, like these. And we're going to work up to non-traditional feathers. So, while you're waiting for that to happen, you might want to review the ABCs of feathers and get ready for feathering your nest.